Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is the Captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Hell, F it. I guess we're just going to do leaks now because Edge of Eternity just keeps getting spoiled, and I guess we're off and running. Hell with it. So, we got a ton to get into. So, before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. Check out the links in the description. eBay TCG player, be a YouTube member, and don't forget about the Otaku Shop. 10% off with codes Capnclyde. All right, we got tons to go. So let's do it. We're going to start off with the Thrumming Hive Pool. 6 colorless for an artifact that has affinity for slivers. That's right, them little fellers are back. And your slivers you control have double strike and haste. Sweet Jesus. And also at the beginning of your beginning of your upkeep, you create 2 1/1 slivers. Oh my god. Yeah, sliver decks are back, baby, and they're back in a big way. So yeah, this card should have been mythic, and it's probably going to be $20 because slivers. Moving on. Next, we have Orthros, the Titanic God Core. We got some really cool lands that are basically just Urza lands all over again, it feels like. So it comes to play tapped. It taps for blue. It's a station. When you station up 12+, which is when you station, you tap another creature into this and put that many counters on it equal to its power. For 1 blue and tapping it, you get 1 blue for each artifact you control. So, yeah, it's basically a fixed Teleria. This is going to be huge. Also, we have a Cosmogoyf, because why not? A green-black, for some reason, Lorgoyf that is an elemental that has power equal to the number of cards you own in exile, and its toughness is equal to that +1, i.e. warp cards. But there are plenty of ways to exile your shit, so let's not downplay this at all. Going to be a great card for standard and all kinds of other stuff. We have Tragic Trajectory, 1 black sorcery. Target creature gets -2/-2 in a turn, has Void. Gets -10/-10 instead until end of turn if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped. This is going to be a great removal card. Especially in standard. It's going to be okay in like other formats. To be fair, this might be better than Fatal Push. Only because, yes, it's -2/-2. But let's be fair, 1 fetch land won't fix this. It has to be something else. So, maybe Fatal Push is still the king. Hard to believe, ain't it? Anyway, moving on. Next, we have Susur, Suckadoo, Sukandi Void Alt, and it's a black ball. That's not any better. Anyway, moving on. This is a planet that taps for a black, comes to play tapped. It has station 12+ for a black and 1. Tap it, pay 2 life, sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, activate only as a sorcery. So that's sweet. Thank God it's only a sorcery because heaven forbid this be too powerful. Again, this whole mythic land cycle is just going to be huge in Commander, Standard, and probably some other formats as well. I'm not even going to lie. So yeah, this is going to be a hell of a set. Next, we have another group, this time from white. We have the Starfield Shepherd, 2 white and 3 for a 3/2 flyer. When it enters, search your library for a basic plains card or creature card, mana value 1 or less. Reveal it, put it in your hand. Now it warps for a white and 1. So if something has warp, you may cast it from your hand for its warp cost. You then exile at the end of turn, and then you can cast it from exile for its casting cost. So for a white and 1, getting a plains is fine. So we've already talked about that. Now, Halia, Guided by Light, white and 2 for a 3/3. Whenever it or another creature or artifact you control enters, you gain a life. Beginning of your beginning of your end step, draw a card if you've gained 3 or more life this turn. Warps for 1 white. Pretty good. Pretty good. So, we have the Exalted Sunborn. This mythic, 2 white and 3 for a 4/5 flying lifelink. That's right. It's 1 better than a Sarah. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many tokens are created instead this turn. Holy shit. Also has warp of a white and 1. Ooh boy. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever warp this thing, but like 5 mana for a 4/5. Yeah, it doesn't have vigilance. Don't care. 4/5 life linking flyer. Then we have the Esteli Reclaimer, 2 white and 3 for a 5/4 flyer. A lot of angels. Wow. For them angel decks out there. When this creature enters, return target non-creature, non-land permanent, mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this creature. Also warps, so for 3, you can get something out of your graveyard and then cast it again for 5 later. Seems really good. Probably good enough for standard and definitely commander shenanigans. So next we have the Red Tiger Mechan, red and 3 for a robot cat. That is a 3/3 with haste. Also has warp of a red and 1. Mini Ball Lightning that you can cast later. It's only a common. It probably won't see a whole lot of play. I mean, hell, for the warp cost, it might see play in a red rush deck with all the bannings, but good for limited. We have the Mechanoiza, robot jellyfish. Robot jellyfish? Okay. 2 blue and 4 for a 5/5. When this creature enters, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. It does have warp for a blue and 2, so it does help stimulate the tide of aggression in early game, so great for the limited format. We have the Cov Landseeker, red and 3 for a 4/3 with menace. When it enters, you create a lander token at the beginning of your end step on your next turn. Sacrifice that token. That token lets you actually go, fetch a land. So it's an artifact that for 2, and tapping it, you sacrifice token, search your library for a basic land, and put it on the battlefield tapped. Basically a rampant growth on a stick, and that's pretty sweet. So also there's a green one, the Galactic Wayfinder for a green and 2 for a 3/3. That when it enters, you get a lander token. That is definitely the better one of the two. 3 mana 3/3 versus a 4 mana 4/3. I mean, yeah, it gets menace, but like, I mean, it's green. I guess they get lands better. Biotech Specialist, green and red. For a 1/3, when it enters, you get a lander token. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. Oh, I see a theme form in there. Red, green, landers. Next, we have the Star Breach Whale, blue and 4 for a 3/5 flyer. When this creature enters, you get to Surveil 2. It also warps for 2, so you can, I guess, Surveil 2 for 2 mana, Surveil to stack your deck in limited, I guess. Fine. All right, next we have Sami, the Wildcat Captain, white, red, and 4 for a 4/4 double strike. Vigilance. Spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. This is something. It's red-white, so that's, I mean, technically in the equipment range of colors. I think this is going to be very popular in Commander, especially as a Commander. But yeah, seems fine. I think it really costs too much for any other format, honestly. Next, we have the Virulent Silencer, 3 colorless for a 2/3. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Interesting. Player 10 or more poison counters loses the game. I mean, this is fine and all, but I don't see us making any waves if this is the only thing we got with poison. But, I mean, whatever. Next, we have this beauty. This is the Windswept Bastion. This is the white land. Enters taps for white, stations for 12+. When it stations up for a white 3 in tapping, it looks like, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or enchantment you control, except it's legendary. Activate only as a sorcery. So I guess, making it legendary means you only do it once. I mean, sure, I guess, for 4 mana every turn, I'll just copy everything on the board. Jesus. And this is the new window view lands that I'd show them to you. They're pretty sweet. Here we have the Carveron Memorial World. This is the red one. Enters tap, taps for red, 12 plus. For a red and 1, sacrifice a land, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Then creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste. Not so hot. I mean, the blue one and the green one are just banging. Man, they're banging. Black one's pretty good too. But anyway. All right, so here are some alternate art cards I wanted to show you. From the bonus sheet, we have the special version of the High Market reprint. Gemstone Caverns is back, and boy, is it pretty. We have the reprint of Celestial Colonnade, which is nice. Then we have an actual new card, the Insatiable Skittermaw. Black and 2 for a 2/2 with Menace. Has Void. Beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell has cast with Warp, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it as a common. I mean, it's fine for the limited. Also on some of the bonus sheets, we have this stuff. That's right. You see it, a Sliver Overlord. You should have known this was coming when you seen the Sliver card. I mean, Sliver Queen can't be reprinted, I don't think. Is it on the reserve list? I don't know. But the Overlord's not, and here it is. So we get Sliver Overlord again in poster art. Very cool. Also, Paradox Haze. Very interesting choice for reprint. A reprint of Nexus of Fate because, you know, that card was not busted the first time it had to be banned. So let's just put it back in here so someone can play it in sealed. I mean, it is 7 mana at least. Jesus. Anyway. And then also we have a new version of Mana Confluence, which is really kind of cool. You know, you've got, you know, black, red, blue. I guess that's white over there. Some green floating around. Anyway, point being, very nice. Other cards on the bonus sheet, we have Magus of the Moon. I'm really digging this. I mean, the card's not that great, but I just like the art. We also have the Warping Whale reprint, which is so sweet. This is a good one. This is a good one. Really digging this one. The old school VHS tape style art. Then we also have Japan Showcase Fractured Foils. So I don't think there's going to be any serialized cards in this set, but there are fractured foils apparently. Here's an example of the Anti-Casual Vestige, where I talked about that. Mutinous Massacre, I think we talked about it, but in case we didn't. 2 red, 2 black, 3 colorless, sorcery, choose odd or even, destroy each creature with mana value of the chosen quantity. Then gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste. So, yeah. Kill all of one, take all the others, punch opponent in face. So, that's pretty much an ultimatum, if I ever seen one. Just a little cheaper, only costs 2 colors. Then we have the Exalted Sunborn special card. That looks cool, not gonna lie. Imagine this thing in Fractured Foil. Ooh, sexy. Man. All right. Moving on. We have the In-Spirit flagship vessel. It is America. This is from Commander. White, red, and blue for a legendary artifact spacecraft station. For 1+, beginning of combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter. Or 2 charge counters on up to 1 other target artifact. So this is really going to help you get your things going. For 8+, it becomes a 5/5 flyer where other artifacts you control have hexproof and indestructible. Ugh. So yeah, imagine this thing is your commander. Holy crap. It's going to get real. All right, and then also we have this commander card, Hearthal the World Seed. Green, red, black, and 1. For a spacecraft, has station at 2+, you get 1, tapping it, sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards. You may play an additional land this turn. Kind of cool. At 8+, it becomes a 6/7 flying vigilance haste. Whenever you sack a land, each opponent loses 2 life. Holy cow. That is also able to be a commander. So then we have a few more bonus sheet cards. We have different versions of the Thespian stage. This is the Borderless Stellar Lights. This is Borderless Poster Stellar Lights. I don't see how that's poster and this isn't. Anyway, point being, there's a couple versions of these bonus sheets that you're going to see. But we get Thespian stage. We have the Mutavault we already talked about. We've seen these 2 before. Apparently, Stellar Sights is this kind of, I don't know, constellation border, I guess you'd call it. And these would be the poster borders. So many different styles of cards, Jesus. Here's the reprint of Eldrazi Temple because, Eldrazi, why not make a temple? This thing's going to be pretty hot, I'm not going to lie. This one right here especially, in foil. Ooh, God, hot. So hot. Also, this is printed in rare this time. Not the, what was it, uncommon before or something, I think. So, yeah. Definitely going to be harder to get, making it worth a lot more money, but, not to mention the fact that it just looks cooler. Then we have a Blink Moth Nexus reprint. We have the border, and we also have the poster version. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but we also have the lander cards. So this is what we talked about before, where you go fetch a land. These are the 5 different lander tokens. It's kind of cool that there's a token for each color, basically. You have black, white, red, green. That's blue. This is white. This is probably black. I don't know. Anyway, point being, there's 5 tokens, 1 for every color. We'll figure it out later. So that's cool. Next, we have the Emergency Eject, white and 2. Destroy target non-land permanent if its controller creates a lander token. So, to be fair, this is better than Gift, which is the normal all-purpose white removal. This is going to be huge. Yes, they get lander tokens. Yes, they can use them to go fetch lands. But it also means that if they don't use it on the next turn, token goes away, stated on how the token's made. Which means that, yes, they'll get a land, but it also makes them tap their mana in the next turn instead of doing something productive. So that's kind of cool. We have the Siege Ship Impact, green and 1 instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the mana value was 2 or less, create a lander token. That's going to be really good. Nothing like green disenchant. That also comes with a rampant growth. So, yeah, this is probably going to be pretty big and standard and definitely commander. Next, we have the Weft Stalker Ardent, red and 2 for a 2/3. Whenever another creature artifact enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Warps for 1. This is fine. Probably really going to see any play, maybe in some kind of weird commander deck or limited. We have the Euro Social Engineering. That just sounds dirty. 2 green and 3 for landfall. Whenever land you control enters, get a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Also has warp of 2. I mean, limited at best. We also have the Bygone Colossus, 9 colorless for a robot giant that is a 9/9 and has warp 3. It doesn't show that warp creatures have haste. So I guess you'd warp it for 3 to just put it in exile for another effect until you need it. I don't know. Anyway, we have Decode Transmissions, black and 2 sorcery, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Normal stuff. It also has Void, though, if you have a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn. Instead of you draw 2 cards and each opponent loses 2 life. Sweet change for limited. Also, we have the Void Forged Titan, black and 4 for a 5/4 Void, which will let you draw a card, lose a life. It's fine for limited. We have the Emissary Escort in both versions. This is a rare card, blue and 1 for an 0/4. It gets +X/+0, where X is the greatest mana value among other artifacts, because this is also one. But don't worry, it's not legendary. If you play 2 of them, they're both 2/4s. So, yeah. That doesn't sound as good as I thought it would. Moving on. So, next we have Unravel. 2 blue and 1. Counter target spell. If an amount of mana spent to cast that spell was less than that mana's value, you draw a card. Holy cow. So, if the amount of mana spent to cast the spell was less than its value, you draw a card. So, as you are free casting or someone warps something and you counter it, you draw a card. This is just a better counter spell with an upside. I mean, yeah, just This is just good. This is going to see lots of standard play. It's going to work its way into Commander. Yada, yada, yada. All right, so we have Sir Vadim, the Lucent. I think we've already seen this guy. 2 black, white, and 2 for a 4/4 death touching lifelinker, because why not? When he enters or attacks other creatures you control, gets +1/+0 and gain death touch. Yeah, that seems fair. Good for limited. We have Genie Morph, Imago. I probably butchered that, but whatever. This looks so cool compared to this. Like, anyway. Blue and a green for a 1/3 with flying. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, target creature has base power toughness 3/3 to end of turn. If you control 6 or more lands, the creature's base power is 6/6. So this is going to see standard play, because this is basically going to be a 3/3 flyer every turn. And if you keep hitting land drops, this thing's going to make people dead quick. So yeah, expect this to be C standard. I mean, I know it's hard to say that with a blue-green, but like, come on. This just seems good. Now, because let's not forget you can shrink everybody else's stuff too, I believe. Let me go back there. Oh, teaser. Yeah, target creature. You can shrink your opponent's stuff and kill their shit. Anyway, moving on. The Endstone, 7 colorless legendary artifact. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card. Holy crap. Beginning of your end step, your life total becomes half your starting life total rounded up. So, at the beginning of your end step, every turn, your life becomes 10. No matter what. So your opponent has to do more than 10 damage to you in a turn. Seems a bit much. But hey, I mean, it can't be that busted, right? Wizards. Moving on. All right, so here's another look at all the cool cards. There's a nesting ground picture in here with this one. I almost wonder if these like fit together and form a picture the way they all kind of... Maybe we'll figure it out later. Here is the Singularity Rupture. 2 black, a blue, and 3. Destroy all creatures. Then any number of target players. Each mill half their library rounded down. Lots of mill in this set. But that's fine. I don't think the kind of mana it's going to take to activate the mill in this set is probably going to get somebody killed. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. Next we have the Chrome Companion. It's the goodest of boys. And he's had some boo-boos, but he's still happy. It's a dog. 2 colorless for a 2/1. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you gain a life. Wow, this is just sweet. For 2 and tapping it, put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I mean, great for limited. Cool for commander decks. It's a dog. For the old dog and cat show. We have Ragast, Deft Gastronaut. I could not eat at a place that this is cooking. I'm just saying. Red and white. It's a 2/2. Artifacts you control are foods in addition to other types. Oh, wow. Which obviously give them the ability to gain 3 life when you sack them. For 1 colorless, sacrifice a food. Ross deals 3 damage to each opponent. Beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, you get to untap him. This seems like something for an artifact deck where you just start bolting the whole table. I'm sure in Commander this will go over really well. Not. But this could also be decent in Standard, depending on what we're playing. Banishing Light reprint. That's right. The old white and 2 enchantment that discarded all them permanents. Gotta love it. Then we have the Wormwall Sweeper. 2 colorless for a spacecraft. When it enters, you get to surveil 2. Not bad. It's station. If you power it up to 4, it's a 2/2 flyer. That seems very, very anticlimactic. But hey, I mean, for a common in limited, this is probably fine. So, next we have a whole lot of nothing. Then we have the Aurora Boreid. We got a giant space tapeworm. That's what we got. So, it's a plant worm. It's a 2 green and 2 for a 1/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. That includes this one, where X is this creature's power. So everything is +1, then +2, then +4. I'm sorry, +1, then +2. Yeah, then +4, then +8. And if they're not dead, something's going wrong. So yeah, seems pretty good. So here's these again because, well, apparently I took a picture of that twice because I thought it was cool. Here's some stuff we've already looked at, but these are some of the borderless triumphant cards that we're going to be seeing. Again, there's going to be so many different styles of card in this. It's going to be hard to collect them all. I don't know if I'm going to collect this set or not because I'm just too much. Some more stuff here that we've already talked about before and seen in this version of the Surreal Space, which... So it's Surreal Space, not Borderless Triumph. This is different. Jesus Christ. But anyway, so yeah. Yeah. There's going to be lots and lots of different cards. And then we have some poster cards from Stellar Knights. We have the Gemstone one, the Celestial Colonnade. This is ugly as hell. Jesus. The High Market, Mana Confluence. That could have been better. And Nesting Grounds. Not so hot. These, I hope I don't pull these because these are not doing it for me. Anyway. So with that said, here's the good one. The Borderless Viewport cards. We've seen this with the other lands, but these are the 5 shock lands. And these are dope. Green-blue looks like a kind of a marsh tree water area looking thing. The Godless Shrine, the outdoors, outside of the space, looking at a planet with some like rocks rotating around it. The Foundries, that almost looks like the Sacred Foundry original picture kind of building, but it's like a more spacey. Anyway, Stomping Grounds, I guess trees that are walking. Anyway, and then the Watery Grave. Oh, that's just so pretty. Castle with a swirling thing. It looks like water, but it's clouds and space and all that cool stuff. Yeah, so these are dope. These are probably pretty, I don't want to say expensive, but pretty sought after, and making them worth a little bit of money for at least a little while. But we'll have to see how well they pick up. We have a new one here. We have the Weapons Manufacturing, a red and 1 enchantment. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, create a colorless artifact token named Munitions. When this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. If you don't remember, there is a guy that for 1 and tapping can sacrifice things that do 2 damage to all the players. So as this thing starts pumping out tokens, the other guy is going to make you basically Boros Charm everybody for 1 colorless. So maybe with this, it might actually be a standard deck because that seems pretty good. So, sorry it took so long, guys. Like I said, I mean, I guess we're just hot in the spoiler season now, and shit's just going to get real as stuff for the set is dropping like crazy. So, until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. Everybody's like, oh, this set's going to suck, so nobody's going to buy it. I mean, I said that too, but that was because of how much the sets before and after it cost. But like, this rate, holy shit, this is going to be a good